everybody, my name's Kayla and I'm here at Trinity today to do some prenatal yoga with you ladies. And prenatal yoga, the three basic things is no back bends, no laying on your belly, and no inversions. So a lot of yoga poses you can do and move through, and it's great to focus on body awareness and breath and moving through maybe some tight spots to help loosen them up and also just do some strengthening. So we'll just go ahead and start out with some chair flows. Anytime using a chair for yoga, especially during the third trimester, we'll be using more chairs. Just make sure it's on the mat and it doesn't slide. So as long as it's on the mat, usually it's pretty good. So we'll go ahead and just start basically sun salutations with the chair. Inhaling up, exhaling, hinging at the hips, and then letting the head come down towards the chair. Inhale, halfway lift with straight legs. Exhale, forward fold, and then swan diving back up. For prenatal yoga, we always will have our feet a little wider to make room for baby. Exhaling down, forward fold. Inhale, straight legs, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. And usually just move through about 5 to 10 of these until feeling warm in the body, and making sure we use our breath to guide through the movements. And anytime, I know right now we're just warming up, but anytime you feel like you have to breathe through your mouth, because maybe you're exerting too much, slow it down a little and lessen the pace to be able to breathe in and out through the nose. Our next time forward, we'll just come back to doing some hip swings. So making circle 8s, feeling a stretch through the front of our hips, and then reversing, and just going through this, and then anytime feeling a tight spot, maybe staying there and moving through it a little bit more. So just finding some mobility in the hips while keeping the knees facing whichever way the toes are facing. Moving into the shoulders some. A little bit of rotation is fine as long as we're not twisting from the chest down. So moving a little bit is fine on the rotations. And then next we'll go and start swinging our arms. So inhaling to the left, exhale through the right. And then just keeping the bottom of the body relatively straight and neutral. Maybe even turning the gaze, looking towards the left and then the right. And then next we're going to turn back towards the chair, and then inhaling the legs, the arms up. We'll go ahead and move the feet facing out so our knees are going the same way as the feet and wide. And then we're going to exhale and squat down to the chair. Inhale up. It's just warming up through our legs. And having the chair for balance as we move forward. And then kind of being conscious of our neck as we go down. We don't need to be looking up, cringing our neck forward. We can keep it with the spine looking down. So this one's more like a forward fold as we come down and bending through the hips. And now we'll move where the feet are facing straight. And we're going with straight legs, flat back, arms down. So warming up through the hips and the shoulders. And again, we're just still warming up, just intensifying the warm up a little bit more. Next, we're going to go through warming up with our back. So cat-cows can be done with the hands either on the chair if needing bounce, or still okay grabbing onto the knees. So inhaling, bringing the chest forward. Exhale, bending the spine. So starting the movement down with the tailbone, since that's a lot of places we get tight. So really moving the tailbone first and then going articulating up the spine. Inhaling forward, exhale. And maybe doing little sides, side cows, bending the hip towards the shoulder on each side and breathing. Inhaling to center, exhale to one side, inhale to center, exhale to the other. And just moving with your breath, if in the body awareness, just being able to feel what needs more. And then coming up through center, moving on to a little bit of warrior type work. So still having the chair stable first. We'll always be sitting kind of forward of the chair. So during first trimester and like when you're feeling a little bit more dizzy and stuff, there wasn't as much. I felt like I didn't have to do much to feel like I got enough of a workout. So in some cases, you can just have the knees like this and have plenty of room to move through warriors. But if wanting a little bit more, scooting on the corner of the chair, and then having the feet out. So this is like a warrior 2. Usually we avoid warrior 1 for prenatal just because it's a little too much in the hip. Today I feel a little bit better with my knees bent. So we'll gaze through our right to whichever knee's forward, that's the forward leg. And then inhaling up, and then exhale, extending over that leg, and letting the hand come through, maybe playing with the gaze towards the knee or towards the hand up in the air. And then inhaling through to warrior 2, and then exhale, reverse, and feeling a nice extension through my back and side body. And then just kind of moving through warrior 2 to extended side angle and reverse. And then if feeling like you want a little bit more of the legs, definitely having the chair close by, but still being able to get up and have a little bit more work in the legs. And then coming through to center, we'll move into chair pose for just a little bit before going to the other side. So just having the chair close by, maybe hovering right over it with the weight in the heels, being able to lift the toes. And then hugging in the core. And we'll inhale up. Then exhale, have a seat for the other side. So 2 options, sitting on the corner of the chair, having one knee forward. You can keep this knee that way or have it straightened out. This side feels okay straight today. So going into warrior 2 first. Breathing. Just letting the hips settle here for a few more breaths before starting to move. We'll go ahead and start extending. Finger gaze. And then to warrior 2. And reversing. Using the breath to move. Lost my focus for a minute. And if wanting to come up into standing. And a shorter lever is more than fine. There's no reason to be spreading wide out if needing to work on balance, because you'll feel more stable with the feet closer together. And if standing, the heel is halfway between the back foot. The front foot's halfway between the arch of the back one. Let's move through this a few more times. And we'll come back into chair pose. And moving through a little sun salutations with a lunge in between, so a little bit different variation. Inhaling up, exhale, forward fold. Let the head come down to the chair. Inhale, halfway lift, and then stepping back with the right leg, so kind of in a crescent lunge, and then the left. And then either staying in plank and working on upper body strength, or exhaling back into down dog. So my hands are firmly planted, but my chair's not going anywhere. So just pressing through, letting the ears come between the arms. And maybe having a bend in the knee, maybe feet a little bit wider, playing with that to let the belly fall. Then stepping back up with the opposite leg. And then coming forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Forward fold. And moving all the way up. And you can move through that a few more times than going into down dog. Now we're just going to work into airplane. So inhaling the arms up, keeping the shoulders down away from the ears, scapula squeezing together. And then exhale, airplane. Not locking the knees. And just letting the belly kind of feel as if it's flying. A little bit more back strengthening with this, moving with the belly. And we'll go ahead and do some balance. So let's have the top for a balance bar and make sure it's stable first. We're going to move through some hip openings. So just letting the hip kind of relax some by moving. Balancing on one foot. We'll move opposite way. And I'm just finding a little tree pose. So foot either beneath the knee, or you can just have it as a kickstand on the floor, or towards the thigh, keeping both hips facing forward, neutral pelvis. We do a little bit of balance poses before moving to stretches, just to lower the heart rate. Just finding one spot to stare at. And still, if you want to play around with balance a little bit more, just knowing the chair is close by. And when coming out of tree pose, bringing the knee up and then exhaling down. And we'll go ahead and switch the chair. So whichever one's the straight leg, that's where you'll have the balance by. So just the opposite hand on the hip, and then, or same hand on the hip and then rotating through. And we'll go opposite way. Just moving around the fluid in the joint. Finding whichever variation of tree pose. And whatever spot to stare at, and just focusing on the breath. Letting the heart rate continue to come down. And then inhaling the knee up. Exhale down, and we'll go ahead and have a seat. Usually when having a seat, it'll be more comfortable. Sorry, running away for a minute. To have the feet on some blocks, just to feel a little bit more grounded. If at home, you can use books or like a telephone book. So just having the feet here. We'll go and inhale the arms up and then exhale them down to each side of the chair, grabbing. And this is our mini prenatal back, or a little bit of opening in the front, but not too much. So squeezing the shoulder blades together, maybe tucking the chin into chest to protect the neck. Just feeling a stretch through the front of the chest. I'm staying here for about 5 breaths. And letting go. Then we'll go ahead and do the opposite stretch for our chest. Letting the head come through, letting the back arch. And then bringing the belly back through, and then we'll just go and do a shoulder release. So fingers active on the straight arm. And really moving through any stretches you feel like your body needs. This is just little basic ones. We can stay in for about 5 breaths each one. Then we'll go ahead and have the feet a little wider, so the feet are going to keep moving wider, as making room for the belly. But we'll go ahead and try just figure 4 with a straight spine, so shoulders over the hips. And if there's still room with the belly, extending forward, maybe resting the head on the hands, and keeping both feet, toes flexed towards the knee. And stay in this pose for about 5 breaths. And then we'll go ahead and move to the opposite side. So even if our belly didn't have a lot of room, we could even just be here and slight press on our thigh. Or if we're up here with our toes flexed towards the knee, we could just lean back some to still have room for the belly, and then maybe press onto the thigh. If it's still having room, you can go ahead and press into the calf. Maybe rest the head, breathe through for about 5 breaths. And extending out, we'll go ahead and straighten both the legs. I still like to use the blocks. So having some room for the belly. Playing with the blocks here. Inhaling up with a straight spine, and then exhale, coming forward, just to feel a stretch in the back of our legs. Toes coming up towards the knee. And staying in each stretch for at least 5 breaths, maybe even 10. Bringing the blocks back to rest our feet on. And then the last little breath thing to work through, maybe together and on your own later, is just 3-part breath. So trying to make more room for the lungs while the bottom of the body is trying to take over. In bringing the left hand on the heart and the right hand cradling the baby. And we'll inhale starting with the right hand, so filling the belly with air, and then the ribs, and then where the left hand heart space is. Filling it all the way up, and then exhaling out slowly. from top to bottom. So just going through that. And when pregnant, we don't ever want to hold our breath or like leave it out for a while. So always keeping the breath moving as we go through 3-part breath. Expanding the lungs, feeling the ribs open up with the breath. Maybe trying to count to a 4-second breath for the inhale and maybe 5 on the exhale. And just using our hands to feel them expand with breath. And just finding anytime needing some extra breaths or some calm, moving through 3-part breath while holding the baby. Thank you guys for doing prenatal yoga with me, and don't forget to subscribe to Trinity Wellness TV on YouTube. Leave questions or comments. Thank you.